My best friend took my girl, so I became his stepdad. My best friend, Connor, backstabbed me by stealing my girlfriend, Nicole. Right before prom, I walk into what I thought was my surprise party, and there's Connor making out with Nicole on my couch like they're starring in some teen drama. It just happened, they both said. Yeah, betrayal just happens like gravity. Here's the thing. Connor's mom, Patricia, had been divorced for 2 years and was lonely as hell. She'd always been the hot mom, you know the type. At 42, she looked better than most women half her age, and was starving for attention. Connor's dad never gave her. I started showing up at Connor's house when he wasn't around, just picking up my stuff, I'd tell Patricia. But really, I was being the perfect gentleman, helping with groceries, fixing things around the house, actually listening when she talked about her dreams of going back to school. 3 months of being everything. Connor's deadbeat dad wasn't. Attentive, respectful, mature. Patricia was eating it up. You're so different from boys Connor's age, she'd say. Yeah, because I actually had a plan. The night before Connor's graduation party, Patricia and I had our own private celebration. 9 months later, she's glowing with pregnancy news, and I'm moving into Connor's childhood home as his new stepdad. I waited until Connor's graduation dinner to announce it. The whole family's there. Connor's bragging about his college plans with Nicole when Patricia stands up with champagne. I have wonderful news. I'm pregnant and Connor's best friend is going to be his new stepdad. The silence was nuclear. Connor choked on his steak. Nicole's jaw hit the floor. Connor's grandparents started asking confused questions about family trees. Connor tried to play it cool but was clearly dying inside. This is weird, man. She's my mom. I just smiled and said, You're right. Family relationships are sacred. Maybe you should have thought about that before you violated ours. Nicole tried crawling back, claiming Connor was just a phase. I told her my phase of caring about cheaters was permanently over. The wedding was awkward as hell. Connor had to be my best man because Patricia insisted on keeping family together. He stood there in a tux, watching his former best friend marry his mother while his ex-girlfriend cried in the audience. I moved into Connor's childhood home like I owned the place, because legally, I kind of did. Patricia was glowing, talking about nursery colors and baby names. Everything was perfect until I found the locked box in her closet while unpacking. Inside were letters, dozens of them, between Patricia and Connor. Not normal mother-son letters. These were different, talking about their plan, about teaching me a lesson for being too cocky, about how they knew I'd go after Patricia if Connor took Nicole. This whole thing was their setup and I'd walked right into it. The pregnancy test in my hand suddenly felt like a weapon as Patricia's footsteps came up the stairs. I shoved the box back and stood there, letters still in my other hand. My heart was pounding. Everything I thought I knew had just collapsed. Patricia opened the bedroom door, smiling. I brought you some iced tea. Then she saw my face. What's wrong? I held up the pregnancy test and the letters. Want to tell me what these are about? Her smile didn't even flicker. Where did you find those? Your closet. While unpacking my things, I stepped closer. Our things, since we're married now. Remember? She set the tea glasses on the dresser carefully. I was going to tell you eventually. Tell me what? That you're not actually pregnant? That this whole thing was a setup? The bedroom door opened wider. Connor walked in, hands in his pockets, looking way too calm. Found the evidence, huh? He sat on the edge of the bed. Took you longer than I expected. Connor? I looked between him and his mom. What is this? Patricia's voice went cold. The pregnancy isn't real. The test you're holding is fake. We ordered it online specifically for this. But why? Why would you? To teach you a lesson. Connor stood up. About being cocky. About thinking you're smarter than everyone else. This is insane. I started for the door. Patricia moved to block me. We planned this from the beginning. From the day Connor kissed Nicole at your party. You planned Connor stealing my girlfriend? Connor smirked. I didn't steal anything. Nicole and I have been together for almost a year, since way before you two started dating. The room spun. That's not possible. It's very possible. Patricia pulled out her phone, showed me photos. Connor and Nicole together. Dated from 8 months ago, 10 months ago, a year ago. But we started dating 9 months ago. Exactly. Connor's voice was smug. You started dating my girlfriend. We let you, because we knew it would set everything else in motion. Everything else? The whole plan. Patricia sat on the bed next to Connor. We knew you'd come after me, once Connor took Nicole away. You're that predictable. Cocky boys always go after the mom when they can't have the girl. You're delusional, both of you. Are we? Connor pulled out a folder from under the bed. We documented everything. Every conversation. Every time you came over. Every move you made. Inside were notes. Detailed notes about my visits. What I said. What I wore. How I acted. You've been planning this for months. Since the day you bragged to the whole school about stealing Nicole from Connor, Patricia corrected. You remember that? In the cafeteria? How you stood on a chair and announced you'd taken the prettiest girl from the star quarterback. I was joking around. You were being arrogant, Connor's jaw clenched. And you needed to be taken down. So you orchestrated this whole thing. I looked at Patricia. You pretended to be lonely, pretended to like me, all to what? Teach me a lesson? Exactly. Her voice was ice. I was never attracted to you. You're 18 years old, barely an adult. Did you really think a grown woman would fall for you? The words hit like punches. But we're married. Yes, she smiled. We are. Which brings us to the next part. I tried to leave again. Connor moved to block the other side of the door. You're not going anywhere. Connor crossed his arms. Not until we explain the rules. What rules? Patricia walked to the dresser, pulled out a thick envelope. These are our marriage documents. Legal, binding, with your signature on every page. I signed those at the wedding. I didn't read them closely. No, you didn't. She spread the papers on the bed, which is how you missed the prenuptial agreement, the joint bank accounts, the deed transfer. Deed transfer? This house is now half yours. Connor's voice was cheerful. Congratulations, you're a homeowner. Why would you? Because now you can't just walk away. Patricia explained slowly, like I was stupid. A divorce would be messy, expensive, and we have documentation of how you pursued me, how you seduced your best friend's mother 3 months after meeting her. Connor added, how would that look to colleges? To future employers? Everyone thinking you're some predator who goes after older women? This is blackmail. No, Patricia collected the papers. This is a life lesson, one you apparently needed. I tried pushing past Connor. He shoved me back, harder than necessary. Where do you think you're going? Out. Away from you, psychos. Patricia's laugh was harsh. We've been recording you for months. Every private conversation. Every moment you thought you were alone with me. Recording? My stomach dropped. Connor pulled out his phone. Played a video of me in the kitchen with Patricia 2 weeks before the wedding. I was talking about Connor. Saying things I'd never said to anyone else. Private, cruel things about my former best friend. You recorded me without my permission. That's illegal. Maybe. Patricia shrugged. But we'll still release it if you try to leave. Let everyone see what you really think about people. How you talk about them behind their backs. You're both insane. We're patient, Connor corrected. There's a difference. I sank onto the bed, head in my hands. What do you want from me? Compliance. Patricia's voice was final. You're going to stay. You're going to learn humility. And you're going to do exactly what we tell you. And if I refuse, then we release everything. The recordings, the photos, the evidence of how you pursued me for revenge. We'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. Connor added, your parents, your college, your friends, everyone will see. I looked up at them, standing together, united against me, mother and son with matching cold smiles. How long? Patricia shrugged. Until we feel you've learned your lesson. And then? Then we'll see. Maybe we let you go. Maybe we don't. She tilted her head. I guess it depends on how well you follow instructions. Connor grabbed my arm, pulled me to my feet. Come on, let me show you to your new room. My new room? You didn't think you'd be sleeping with my mom, did you? He laughed. That's disgusting. He led me down the hall to his childhood bedroom. Small. Blue walls covered in old posters. A twin bed with a sports-themed comforter. This is where you'll sleep from now on. Connor opened the closet, empty except for a few wire hangers. You can put your stuff here. You're serious. Dead serious. He sat on the bed, testing the mattress. This was my bed until I was 16. Now it's yours. Funny how things work out. I heard Patricia laughing downstairs, talking on the phone. Casual. Like she hadn't just destroyed my life. Connor stood. Come on. Mom's making dinner. You can help. In the kitchen, Patricia was chopping vegetables. Oh, good. You can set the table. I'm not your servant. No. She didn't look up from her cutting board. You're my husband. Husbands help with chores. This is insane. I slammed my hand on the counter. You can't keep me here. Actually, we can. Connor leaned against the doorframe. You signed the papers. You're legally bound. And if you try to leave, we'll make your life hell. We already are making your life hell. Patricia laughed. Oh, sweetie. This is just the beginning. They made me set the table. Made me serve the food they'd cooked. Made me stand by the wall while they ate, only sitting down after they'd both finished. This is what marriage is, Patricia explained between bites. Partnership, teamwork. You do your part, we do ours. What's my part? Whatever we tell you. Connor grinned. Starting tomorrow. That night, lying in Connor's childhood bed, I heard them downstairs, laughing, celebrating, planning their next move. I checked my phone. Messages from my parents asking how married life was. From my sister congratulating me. From friends making jokes about having a MILF stepmom. I started to type a response, to tell them everything, but my hands froze. What would I even say? That I'd fallen for an elaborate revenge plot? That I'd married someone who was actively torturing me? They'd think I was insane, or lying, or trying to make excuses for my own bad choices. I deleted the draft and turned off my phone. Around midnight, I tried the window, locked from the outside. I checked the door. They'd put a lock on it. I could get out, but only if I made noise, and they'd hear me. I was a prisoner in my own house, in Connor's childhood bedroom, surrounded by his trophies and participation medals and old-school photos. Morning came too early. Patricia knocked on the door at 6 a.m. Time to get up. Breakfast won't make itself. I dragged myself downstairs, found them both already at the kitchen table, coffee cups empty. "We need milk," Patricia said, "and eggs, and bread. Here's money." She handed me a 20. "Corner store's open. You want me to go shopping at 6 in the morning?" Connor smiled. "Welcome to being helpful. That's what good husbands do." I walked to the store in yesterday's clothes. The clerk gave me a weird look but didn't say anything. I grabbed what they wanted and headed back. When I got home, Connor was in the shower and Patricia was doing yoga in the living room. Perfect timing. Put those away and start breakfast. She didn't even look at me. Connor likes his eggs scrambled with cheese. I like mine over easy. I made their breakfast while they got ready for their day, served it while they scrolled through their phones. "This is good," Patricia said. "Maybe you're learning after all." After they ate, Connor handed me a list. Chores for the day. Clean the bathrooms, vacuum the whole house, do laundry, wash the windows, scrub the kitchen floor. The list went on. "You're joking." "Do I look like I'm joking?" Connor's voice was flat. "You've got until 5 p.m. That's when we're having guests over." "Guests? Some friends? Family?" Patricia applied lipstick in her compact mirror. "We're going to introduce you properly, as my loving husband who's so helpful around the house." They left together. Connor's car backing out of the driveway while I stood in the kitchen with a mop bucket and a growing sense of dread. I spent the day cleaning. Every surface. Every corner. The house had to be perfect, Patricia had said, or there would be consequences. At 4 p.m., Nicole showed up at the door. She looked different, uncomfortable, like she didn't want to be there. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. She walked past me into the living room. "So it's true." She looked around. "You actually married Connor's mom. You know it's true. You were at the wedding." "I know, but I thought maybe it was just for show, that you'd annul it right after or something." "I tried to. They won't let me." Nicole's face changed. "Won't let you?" I told her everything. The letters, the fake pregnancy, the recordings, the blackmail. She sat on the couch, processing. "You're serious?" "Completely." She pulled out her phone, texted someone, then looked back at me. "I need to tell you something." "What?" She bit her lip. "I knew about the fake pregnancy." My blood went cold. "What?" "Patricia told me 2 days ago. Said it was time to come clean about the pregnancy part. That they were going to tell you soon anyway. And you didn't warn me? I'm warning you now." 2 days later, after I already found out, I stepped back from her. "You knew." Nicole stood up. "I didn't know about everything. Just the pregnancy. What else do you know?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. "Connor and I have been together for over a year. Since way before you asked me out." "I know. They showed me the photos. It was Patricia's idea." Nicole's voice got quiet. She wanted to make sure someone else was involved. Said it would be more believable if I played along. Played along with what? With the whole plan. Nicole sat back down. "She told me about wanting to teach you a lesson, about how you were too arrogant, too cocky, and I agreed." "You agreed to help them torture me?" "I didn't think it would be like this." Her eyes filled with tears. "Connor said it would just be a prank, make you jealous for a few weeks, then let you in on the joke. But it's not a joke. I know that now." Nicole wiped her eyes. "Connor's changed. He used to be sweet, funny. Now he's angry all the time. Controlling. Wonder why that might be." She ignored the sarcasm. "Patricia's manipulating both of you. She's the one pulling the strings." "No." I shook my head. "They're in this together. I've seen them planning, laughing about it. Connor doesn't know everything." Nicole leaned forward. "He doesn't know his mom's been lying to him too." "About what?" "About why they're really doing this. It's not just about teaching you a lesson. Patricia has other reasons." "What reasons?" Before Nicole could answer, the front door opened. Patricia walked in, followed by Connor. "Nicole." Patricia's voice was ice. "What are you doing here?" "I came to check on him." Nicole gestured at me. "How sweet." Patricia set her purse down. "But we're having guests soon. You should go." "Actually," Connor crossed his arms, "I want to hear what she was about to say. About you having other reasons." Patricia's smile froze. "I don't know what she's talking about." Nicole stood. "Tell him about Trent." The name hung in the air like smoke. "Who's Trent?" I asked. "No one." Patricia's voice was sharp. "Nicole's making things up." Connor stepped toward his mom. "Who is Trent?" "An old friend." Patricia wouldn't look at him. "It's nothing. Nicole pulled out her phone. Then why has he been texting you every day for the past month? She showed the screen. Messages between Patricia and someone named Trent. Recent messages. Intimate messages. Connor grabbed the phone. What the hell is this? Give that back. Patricia reached for it, but Connor held it away. You've been cheating on him? Connor pointed at me. On your husband? It's complicated. No. Connor scrolled through the messages. No, it's really not. You've been seeing someone else this whole time. Patricia's face crumpled. It's not what it looks like. Then what is it? I asked. Because it looks like you played me, used me, while seeing someone else. Connor kept reading. His face got paler with each message. Oh my God. What? Patricia tried to grab the phone again. Connor, don't. You're pregnant. Connor looked up at his mom. For real pregnant? Not fake? The room went silent. That's not true, Patricia said weakly. Yes, it is. Nicole spoke up. She told me last week, made me promise not to tell. Who's the father? Connor's voice shook. Because the timeline doesn't match up with him. He pointed at me. Patricia sank into a chair, her carefully constructed facade finally cracking. Trent. Who is Trent? Connor shouted. Your father's ex-friend. Patricia's voice was barely a whisper. From before the divorce. Dad's friend? Connor's hands clenched. The one who... Yes. The one who put Dad in the hospital? Patricia nodded. Connor threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. You slept with him? The guy who almost killed Dad? It's not that simple. Seems pretty simple to me. Connor paced. You've been seeing him. Got pregnant with his kid, and you're using this whole revenge thing as what? A distraction? No. Patricia stood up. I was using it to protect us. Protect us how? Trent wants money. Patricia's voice broke. He's been demanding it since he got out. Said he'd tell you everything if I didn't pay. Got out? I asked. Got out of where? Prison, Nicole answered. He was in prison for assault. Got released 3 weeks before your wedding. This keeps getting better. Connor laughed bitterly. My mom's pregnant by a violent criminal and thought marrying my ex-best friend would somehow fix it? He has money. Patricia looked at me. Or his family does. I thought if I married him, I could access it. Pay Trent off. Make this whole thing go away. So that's what this was really about. I felt sick. Not revenge. Money. Both. Patricia's hands shook. I did want to teach you a lesson. You were arrogant and cocky and needed to be taken down. But yes, I also needed money. Connor slumped against the wall. His tough guy act completely gone. This is insane. When does Trent want his money? I asked. Tomorrow, Patricia whispered. $50,000 or he's coming here. Coming here? To get it himself. She looked at Connor. I was trying to protect you. From him. From everything. By lying. By using both of us. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. Connor headed for the door. I need air. The door slammed behind him. Patricia and I stood in awkward silence. Nicole had moved to the corner, trying to be invisible. How much of this did Nicole know? I asked. Just the pregnancy part. Patricia sat back down. And about Trent existing. Nothing else. Nicole stepped forward. I swear I didn't know about the money, or that he was violent. I just thought Patricia was seeing someone. You still knew enough. I looked at her. You knew they were manipulating me and you helped. Nicole started crying. I'm sorry. I was angry at you too. For bragging about me. For acting like you owned me. I wanted you to hurt like I hurt. By helping them destroy my life. I didn't think it would go this far. But it did. And you let it happen. Before anyone could respond, there was a knock at the door. Hard. Aggressive. Patricia's face went white. That's him. Trent? She nodded. I looked at Nicole. You should go. Now. Nicole grabbed her purse and ran out the back door. I heard her car start and speed away. The knocking got louder. Are you going to answer that? I asked Patricia. I don't have the money. Her voice shook. I thought I'd have more time. Well, you don't. I walked to the door, looked through the peephole. A man stood on the porch, tall, heavily muscled, covered in tattoos, face hard and angry. I opened the door. Who are you? He pushed past me into the house. I know who you are. Trent looked around. You're the kid she married? Where is she? Patricia stepped into view. Trent, hi. Don't hi me. He moved toward her fast. Where's my money? I don't have it yet. The bank wouldn't. Don't lie to me. Trent grabbed her arm. I know you have access to his accounts. Let go of her. I stepped forward. Trent looked at me like I was an insect. Or what? You'll do something about it? I'll call the cops. Go ahead. He pulled out his phone. I've got recordings of Patricia admitting she owes me money. Video of her begging me to give her more time. You call the cops. I'll make sure everyone knows what she's been up to. Patricia tried pulling away. He tightened his grip. You're hurting me. Good. Trent's voice was cold. Maybe you'll remember that feeling next time you try to screw me over. The front door burst open. Connor stood there, out of breath. Get your hands off my mother. Trent let go of Patricia, turned to face Connor. So you're the son. Get out of our house. Your house? Trent laughed. Your mommy put this house up as collateral for a loan I gave her 6 months ago. Technically, it's my house. Connor looked at Patricia. You mortgaged the house? I needed the money. Patricia rubbed her arm where Trent had grabbed her. For Connor's college. Bullshit. Trent moved closer to Connor. She needed it to pay off her credit cards, the ones she maxed out buying herself pretty things. Connor's voice got quiet. Is that true? Patricia couldn't look at him. How much does she owe you? I asked Trent. 100 grand, give or take. My stomach dropped. There's no way. There's always a way. Trent looked around the house. Nice place. Should sell for at least 200. I'll take that. You're not taking anything. Connor stepped between Trent and Patricia. Get out, now! Trent smiled, showing teeth like a predator. Make me. Connor swung at him. Trent caught his fist easily, twisted Connor's arm behind his back and shoved him against the wall. Your son's got spirit. Trent looked at Patricia. Too bad he can't back it up. Let him go. Patricia's voice broke. Please, give me my money and I will. I don't have it. Then I guess I'm moving in. Trent released Connor, who collapsed onto the floor. Until you come up with it, I'm staying right here, making sure you don't run. You can't do that. Watch me. Trent grabbed a beer from the fridge, sat at the kitchen table like he owned the place. Nice family you got here, Patricia. Be a shame if something happened to them. Connor got to his feet, holding his shoulder. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. Trent pulled out his phone. But first, they'll hear all about your mom's fraud. The fake pregnancy announcement, the marriage to a kid for his money, the mortgage fraud. You really want to go down that road? Connor's hand dropped from his phone. That's what I thought. Trent leaned back in the chair. Now here's how this is going to work. You two boys are going to get me my money. I don't care how. Rob a bank. Ask mommy and daddy. Sell your organs. I want $100,000 in 1 week. That's impossible, I said. Then you better get creative. Trent finished the beer. Because if I don't get my money, I'm taking this house. And everyone in it will be very, very sorry. He stood up, walked upstairs. We heard him opening doors, checking rooms. He came back down with my duffel bag. I'll take this room. He dropped the bag on the floor. You can sleep in the closet or something. That's my room. Not anymore. Patricia tried to speak. Trent, shut up. He turned on the TV. I'm going to watch some sports. You three can figure out how to get me my money. And if I hear any whispers about going to the cops, I'll make sure Connor here ends up like his daddy, in the hospital, or worse. He kicked his feet up on the coffee table, making himself comfortable. Connor, Patricia, and I stood there, helpless, united in fear. Connor finally moved, gestured for us to follow him upstairs. We crowded into Connor's room. This is bad, Connor paced. This is really bad. Patricia sat on the bed, head in her hands. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't help us. Connor stopped pacing. We need a plan. What kind of plan? I asked. I don't know. Connor ran his hands through his hair. But we can't just let him stay here, threatening us. What if we, Patricia started? What if we what, Mom? Connor's voice was harsh. What if we give him money we don't have? What if we sell a house that apparently isn't even ours anymore? There has to be something. There is. I pulled out my phone. We worked together. Connor looked at me like I was crazy. Work together? After everything they did to me? You're right. I could just leave. Let Trent destroy both of you. Watch from a safe distance. Patricia's eyes widened. You wouldn't. Normally, no. But you've given me every reason to. I sat on the edge of the bed. However, I don't think Trent's going to let me just walk away. He thinks I have money. He'll come after me too. So we're all stuck. Connor slumped against the wall. Unless we flip this. I looked at both of them. Use what we know. Play the game better than he is. What do you mean? Patricia's been recording everything, right? I looked at her. For months? She nodded slowly. So she probably has recordings of Trent too. His threats. His admissions about the money. I do. Patricia pulled out her phone. Everything from the past 2 weeks. That's evidence. I stood up. Extortion. Blackmail. Assault. We have him on tape. Connor caught on. We can go to the police. Not yet. If we go now, he'll release everything about Patricia. Destroy all of us. So what do? We make him think we're getting the money. Buy time. Gather more evidence. Then we turn everything over to the police at once. His crimes and Patricia's. Let the system sort it out. I'll go to jail. Patricia whispered. Maybe. I looked at her. But at least you'll be alive, and Connor won't be in danger. Connor sat next to his mom. She doesn't deserve your help, after what she did to you. No, she doesn't. I walked to the door, but I'm not doing this for her. I'm doing it because Trent's a bigger threat than either of you ever were. The next few days were tense. Trent stayed in what used to be my room, came and went as he pleased, made demands, threats. Connor and I started recording everything, using our phones. Hidden cameras Patricia had installed months ago. Every time Trent made a threat, we caught it. Patricia played along, pretended to be working on getting the money, showed Trent fake bank statements, forged documents. He wasn't stupid, but he wanted to believe it, wanted to think his payday was coming. Meanwhile, I reached out to Nicole, asked her to help gather evidence from the outside, talk to people who knew Trent, find out about his past crimes. She came through. Within 3 days, she had restraining order violations, parole infractions, evidence of other people Trent had threatened. On the 5th day, Trent got impatient, trashed the living room looking for valuables, threw Patricia against the wall when she tried to stop him. Connor and I pulled him off her. Trent punched Connor in the face, split his lip open. I tackled Trent, got a few good hits in before he overpowered me, pinned me to the floor. You think you're tough? Trent's breath smelled like whiskey. I'll show you tough. He dragged me outside, threw me against his car, kicked me twice in the ribs. Connor ran out, pulled Trent back. They fought, really fought. Blood and broken glass and shouting. Patricia called someone. I thought it was the police. It wasn't. Connor's dad showed up, haven't seen him in 2 years, walked right up to Trent and said one word. Enough. Trent stopped mid-swing, looked at Connor's dad. Well, well, look who came crawling back. Let my son go. Or what? You'll put me in the hospital again? Trent laughed. We both know how that worked out last time. Last time I held back. Connor's dad's voice was steel. This time I won't. They stared at each other. 2 grown men with years of hatred between them. Finally, Trent let Connor go, stepped back. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Connor's dad pulled out his phone. Because I just sent the police everything. Every threat, every crime, every violation of your parole. Sirens started in the distance. Trent's face changed. You're bluffing. Am I? The sirens got closer. Trent ran for his car, got in, tried to start it. Connor's dad had already pulled the spark plug wires. Police cars pulled into the driveway. 4 of them. Officers jumped out, weapons drawn. Trent was pulled from his car and cuffed. They read him his rights while he screamed about conspiracy, about being set up. One officer approached us. Are you all okay? Connor wiped blood from his mouth. Now we are. They took our statements, saw the videos, the evidence, the recordings. Trent was loaded into the back of a police car, still shouting. As they drove away, Connor's dad turned to Patricia. We need to talk. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Connor looked at his father. How did you know to come? I've been watching. Connor's dad put his hand on Connor's shoulder. Your mom called me last week, told me everything. About Trent, about the money, about what she'd done to you. And you came anyway? You're my son. He looked at me. Both of you need protection. I'm not your son. No. Connor's dad smiled sadly. But you're married to my ex-wife, which makes you family whether we like it or not. Later that night, after statements and ice packs and explanations, we sat in the living room. The 4 of us. Patricia broke the silence. I need to tell you all the truth. We're listening. Connor's dad leaned forward. The pregnancy is real. Patricia looked at Connor. And I'm so sorry. I thought I could handle Trent. Thought I could protect you by bringing in someone with money. She looked at me. I did want to teach you a lesson. You were arrogant, cocky, but I also saw an opportunity. Your family has money. I needed money. It seemed perfect. It was cruel. Yes, Patricia nodded. It was, and I've destroyed everything. My relationship with my son, with you, with myself. Connor's dad spoke up. Patricia's going to turn herself in tomorrow. For fraud, extortion, everything she did. What? Connor stood up. Mom, no. I have to. Patricia's voice was firm. I can't let you boys take the fall for my mistakes. And I can't keep running from what I've done. You'll go to jail. Probably. She stood up. But it's the right thing to do. Maybe the first right thing I've done in years. Connor hugged her. Actually hugged her. Despite everything. I stood apart, watching, feeling nothing, just tired. Connor's dad approached me. I know you have every right to annul this marriage. To walk away and never look back. That's the plan. But before you do, I want to give you something. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $50,000. What is this? Payment for what my ex-wife put you through. It's not nearly enough, but it's what I can afford right now. I can't take this. Yes, you can. He closed my hand around the envelope. Use it to start over. Go to college. Build a life away from this mess. What about Connor's college? Already handled. Connor's dad looked at his son. I've been saving. He'll be fine. The next day, Patricia went to the police station, confessed to everything. Fraud, conspiracy, blackmail using recordings without consent. They arrested her, set bail at $200,000, way more than anyone could afford. Child Services came for a visit, questioned Patricia about the pregnancy, about her ability to be a mother given her criminal behavior. They left with paperwork, said they'd be in touch about custody arrangements once the baby was born. Patricia sat in a cell, alone, pregnant, facing years in prison. Connor's grandparents found out about everything, his dad's parents. They'd always liked Patricia, defended her during the divorce. Not anymore. They showed up at the house 2 days after Patricia's arrest, took one look at Connor and disowned Patricia on the spot. She brought shame to this family. Connor's grandmother wouldn't even say Patricia's name. She's no longer our daughter-in-law, no longer welcome. What about the baby? Connor asked. That child will be raised by someone fit, not by a criminal. Connor's grandfather turned to Connor's dad. You'll take custody? If it comes to that, yes. They left, cutting Patricia out of their lives completely. No bail money, no support, nothing. Connor tried to visit Patricia in jail. She refused to see him, sent a message through her lawyer. I don't want you to see me like this. Connor came home devastated, sat in the living room staring at nothing. I was packing, getting ready to leave for good. Are you really going? Connor stood in the doorway of his childhood bedroom, the room I'd been forced to sleep in. Yes. Where? College. Away from here. Away from all of this. I don't blame you. He sat on the bed. I'm sorry. For everything. I know. Do you forgive me? I looked at him. Really looked at him. This kid who'd been my best friend, who'd helped his mom destroy me, who was now broken and alone. Ask me again in a few years. Fair. Connor stood up. For what it's worth, I'm dropping out. Of what? College. Can't afford it anymore. Dad's money is going to legal fees. To taking care of Mom's mess. You had a full ride to state. Had. Connor laughed bitterly. They pulled it when they found out about the fraud case. Said I was part of a conspiracy to defraud you. Were you? At first. Then it became something else. Something worse. We stood in awkward silence. What are you going to do? I asked. Work. Connor shrugged. Dad got me a job at his construction company. I'll make enough to help with Mom's legal bills. You're going to pay for her lawyers? She's my mom. Despite everything, she's still my mom. I finished packing. Nicole showed up as I was loading my car. She looked terrible. Thin. Pale. Like she hadn't slept in days. I heard you're leaving. Yep. Can we talk? Just for a minute? Fine. We sat on the porch steps. Same steps where I'd helped Patricia carry groceries months ago. Back when I thought I was so clever. I told my boyfriend about everything. Nicole picked at her nail polish. About helping Connor and Patricia. About the whole plan. How'd he take it? He broke up with me. On the spot. Said he couldn't be with someone who'd do that to another person. Sorry. Don't be. Nicole looked at me. I deserved it. I helped them hurt you. I knew it was wrong and I did it anyway. Why are you telling me this? Because you should know that it's falling apart for all of us. Not just Patricia, me and Connor, and everyone who was involved. Good. Nicole flinched. Yeah, I guess we earned that. She stood up. I hope college is everything you want it to be. I hope you forget about us. Move on. Be happy. I plan to. She walked to her car, turned back once. If it helps at all, I really am sorry. Then she left. I finished loading my stuff. Connor and his dad came out to say goodbye. Thank you. Connor's dad shook my hand. For not pressing charges against Connor. For giving him a chance to learn from this. He's paying for it in other ways. I looked at Connor. No college, dead-end job, mother in jail. That's not on you. No. I got in my car. It's on him and Patricia. Drive safe. Connor stepped back. And maybe, someday, we can be friends again. Maybe. But we both knew it wouldn't happen. I drove away without looking back. Left that house. That town. That whole nightmare chapter of my life. 3 months later, I was settled into college. New friends, new start, new life. I heard through mutual friends that Patricia pled guilty. Got 7 years. Lost custody of the baby before it was even born. Connor's grandparents took the baby. Refused to let Patricia name it. Refused to even tell her if it was a boy or girl. Connor was working 60-hour weeks, trying to pay for his mom's appeals. Sleeping in his childhood bedroom. The same room I'd been forced into. Nicole had moved back in with her parents. No boyfriend. No college. Working at a grocery store to pay off debt from college applications she never completed. Their lives were wrecked. Completely wrecked. And I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not revenge. Not vindication. Just relief that it was over. That I'd escaped. I used Connor's dad's money to pay for textbooks. For a decent apartment. For therapy to process everything that had happened. My therapist said I was handling it remarkably well. All things considered. I graduated 4 years later. Top of my class. Job offers from 3 different companies. I picked the one farthest from my hometown, started fresh in a new city, built a life, a real life, with people who didn't manipulate or use or scheme. Sometimes I think about Patricia, sitting in prison, alone, having lost everything. Sometimes I think about Connor, working himself to death for a mother who destroyed his future. Sometimes I think about Nicole, stuck in a life she never wanted because of choices she made in high school. But mostly I don't think about them at all. They're part of my past, a dark chapter that taught me hard lessons about trust, about revenge, about how quickly lives can fall apart. I'm engaged now to someone amazing, someone real, someone who would never use me as a pawn in some twisted game. We're getting married next spring. Small ceremony, close friends only. Connor sent a message through Facebook last year, asking if we could talk, asking for forgiveness. I never responded. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Some damage is permanent. He made his choices. Patricia made hers. Nicole made hers. Now they're living with the consequences, while I'm living my life, happy, successful, free. And that's the real revenge, not destroying them, just being okay without them, just proving that what they did didn't break me, didn't define me, didn't stop me from building something good. They tried to teach me a lesson about humility, about being cocky. Instead, they taught me about resilience, about getting back up, about refusing to let other people's cruelty destroy you. So yeah, my best friend took my girl, I became his stepdad, and it all fell apart spectacularly. But I'm still here, still standing, still winning, and they're still stuck in the mess they created, still paying for what they did. Maybe someday I'll forgive them. Maybe someday I'll respond to Connor's message. But not today, not tomorrow, maybe not ever. Because some lessons are learned by walking away, by letting the past stay in the past, by choosing yourself over people who proved they never chose you. That's my story. That's how it ended. Not with some dramatic confrontation or satisfying revenge, but with me packing my car, driving away, and never looking back. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well, and I'm doing that, finally, completely. The rest of them can sort out their own messes. I'm done being part of their story. I'm writing my own now, and it's a hell of a lot better than theirs. I shoved the box back into the closet and stood there frozen. My brain was trying to catch up with what I'd just read. The letters were dated, some from before prom. Before I ever saw Connor and Nicole together, Patricia knocked on the bedroom door. "Sweetheart, can I come in?" I walked over and opened it, keeping my face neutral. She was holding 2 glasses of lemonade, smiling that warm smile I'd fallen for. The same smile that was apparently fake this whole time. "We need to talk," I said, taking one of the glasses. Her smile didn't waver. "About what?" "About why you're not really pregnant." The glass in her hand froze halfway to her lips. Her eyes went cold. "Where did you find them?" "The letters? In your closet where you left them?" "Not exactly master criminal material, Patricia." She set her glass down carefully on the dresser, took a breath, then laughed. Actually laughed. "You really are smarter than we gave you credit for. Connor thought you'd never figure it out." "Connor, right." I glanced at the door. "Where is he anyway?" "Downstairs. Want me to call him up? We can all have a nice chat about this." She pulled out her phone, texted something. 30 seconds later, Connor appeared in the doorway, looking way too smug for someone who should be worried. "Found the box, huh?" He leaned against the doorframe. "Took you long enough." My hands clenched. So all of it was fake. The pregnancy, the relationship, everything. Patricia sat on the bed like this was a normal conversation. "Not everything. The marriage is real. Very real. Legally binding." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," Connor said, walking over to stand next to his mom, "that you're stuck. You wanted to play games, so we played games. And we won." I started for the door, but Patricia stood up. "I wouldn't do that." "Why? What are you gonna do, call the cops?" "No." She walked to the dresser, pulled out a folder. "But I will show you these." Inside were marriage documents, certificates, legal papers with my signature all over them. "You signed everything at the wedding," Patricia explained. "The prenup you didn't read carefully, the joint accounts, the deed transfer for half the house, all legal." My stomach dropped. "What deed transfer?" "This house," Connor said, grinning. "It's half yours now, which means you can't just walk away without a very messy, very expensive divorce. And good luck explaining to a judge why you married your best friend's mom 3 months after meeting her." Patricia crossed her arms. "We did this to teach you a lesson about being cocky, about thinking you're smarter than everyone else. You came into our home, pursued me thinking you were so clever, and we let you believe you were winning. This is insane. You're both insane." "No," Connor said. "We're patient, and you needed to learn some humility." I tried to push past him, but he blocked the door. "Where do you think you're going?" "Out. Away from you, psychos." Patricia's voice turned cold. You leave, and we release everything. Every conversation, every moment. We've been recording you for months. Recording? Connor pulled out his phone, played a clip. It was me, talking to Patricia in the kitchen weeks ago, saying things about Connor. Private things I'd said thinking it was just us. You recorded me without consent. That's illegal. Maybe, Patricia said, but it'll still ruin your reputation, your college applications, your job prospects. Everyone will know you as the guy who seduced his best friend's mother for revenge. Because that's exactly what you did, Connor added. And we have proof. I felt trapped. Completely trapped. They'd thought of everything. So, what now? I asked. You just keep me here like a prisoner? Not a prisoner, Patricia corrected. A husband. You'll sleep in Connor's old room for now. We'll figure out the rest as we go. Connor smirked. And if you want to keep your dignity intact, you'll do exactly what we say, starting with dinner tomorrow. We're having friends over, and you're going to play the perfect, grateful husband. I spent that night in Connor's childhood bedroom, surrounded by his old football posters and trophies. The bed was too small. The walls felt like they were closing in. Around midnight, I heard voices downstairs. Patricia and Connor laughing about something, planning their next move, probably. My phone buzzed. Nicole. The text said, I heard you married Patricia. Are you okay? I stared at it for a long time before responding. Did you know? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, know what? About the plan, the setup. Longer pause this time. Then, we need to talk. In person. I climbed out the window. Old habit from sneaking out as a teenager. Nicole's car was parked 2 blocks away, headlights off. She looked different, thinner, tired. Get in. We drove to an all-night diner on the edge of town. Slid into a booth in the back corner. Tell me you didn't know, I said. Nicole wouldn't meet my eyes. I didn't know everything. But you knew something. She nodded. Connor told me he wanted to make you jealous. Said it would be funny to see you get worked up over me. I thought it was just typical guy drama. And the Patricia thing? I didn't know about that until after the wedding. She twisted her napkin. Connor told me a few weeks ago. Said it was the perfect revenge for you being so arrogant. I laughed, but it came out bitter. Arrogant. Right. Because I had the audacity to trust my best friend. You did come across cocky sometimes, Nicole said quietly. Always acting like you were better than everyone. Smarter. So I deserve this? No. She finally looked at me. Nobody deserves this. What they're doing is insane. The waitress came over. We both ordered coffee we wouldn't drink. After she left, Nicole leaned forward. I didn't want to be part of this. When Connor first kissed me at your party, I was confused. But then he said you'd been bragging about me like I was some trophy you won. Said you never really cared about me. That's not true. I know that now. She reached across the table, but I pulled my hand back. I'm sorry. For all of it. Sorry doesn't help me. I know. But I want to. Help, I mean. She pulled out her phone. Connor's been texting me. About you. About their plan. What plan? They're going to make you do humiliating things. Tasks. And if you refuse, they'll post everything online. The recordings. Edited to make you look as bad as possible. I rubbed my face. This is a nightmare. There's more. Nicole scrolled through messages. Patricia isn't just Connor's mom in on this. She's been seeing someone else. For months. Who? Some guy named Trent. He got out of prison 3 weeks before your wedding. Prison for what? Assault. Domestic violence. He put Connor's dad in the hospital years ago. That's why they got divorced. Why would Patricia be seeing him again? Nicole shrugged. Love makes people stupid. Or maybe she never stopped loving him. Either way, Connor doesn't know about it. How do you know? Because Patricia told me. She pulled me aside at the wedding, gave me money to keep quiet, said Connor would freak if he knew. This kept getting worse. How much money? $5,000. I stared at her. And you took it. I needed it. She looked ashamed. Student loans. Rent. I'm barely scraping by. The coffee arrived. We both ignored it. Is she really pregnant? I asked. Nicole bit her lip. Yes, but not with your baby. Trent's? She nodded. And she doesn't know what to do. The timeline doesn't work if she claims it's yours. She's too far along. So the fake pregnancy test was fake. But there's a real pregnancy, just not the one she announced. My brain hurt trying to process this. Does Connor know any of this? Not about Trent, not about the real pregnancy. He thinks everything's going exactly according to plan. We sat in silence for a while. The diner was empty except for a truck driver at the counter and a homeless guy sleeping in the corner booth. What do I do? I finally asked. Leave. Tonight. Get out before this gets worse. They'll release the recordings. Let them. Nicole leaned forward. You're 18, about to start college. In a year, nobody will care about some high school drama. I'll care. My family will care. Your family loves you. They'll understand. Her voice got urgent. But if you stay, if you let them control you, it'll only get worse. Trust me. How do you know? Because I've been watching Connor become someone I don't recognize. She started crying. He used to be a good guy, funny, kind. But ever since his dad left, since his mom started struggling, he's turned into this vengeful, manipulative person. And I was too scared to call it out. I handed her a napkin. You're calling it out now. Too late. She wiped her eyes. I should have said something when he first suggested the plan. Should have told you everything. Why didn't you? Because I was angry at you too. She smiled sadly. You did act like you were better than everyone, like you had it all figured out, and I wanted to see you taken down a peg. Well, mission accomplished. Nicole's phone buzzed. She checked it and her face went pale. What? Connor. He knows I'm with you. Says I better get home now or there will be consequences. Consequences? She showed me the message. It included a screenshot of me climbing out the window. They're watching the house, I realized. Probably cameras. We need to go. Nicole stood up, threw money on the table. Now. We drove back in silence. She dropped me off 2 blocks from the house. Be careful, she said, and think about what I said, about leaving. I will. But we both knew I wouldn't. Not yet. I had too many questions. Too much I needed to understand. I climbed back through the window just as the sun was starting to rise. Collapsed on the bed, fully dressed. 3 hours later, Patricia knocked on the door. Time for breakfast. And don't forget, we have guests tonight. I came downstairs to find Connor making pancakes, like nothing had happened. Like this was a normal Sunday morning. Sleep well? He asked, not looking at me. Patricia was setting the table. We thought we'd have a nice family breakfast. Get to know each other better. I sat down because I didn't know what else to do. They served me food I couldn't eat. Made small talk I couldn't follow. After we ate, Connor pulled out a list. Tasks. What? Things you're going to do today. He slid the paper across the table. Prove you understand your new place in this family. I read the list. My hands started shaking. Clean the entire house, top to bottom. Wash our cars, by hand. Go grocery shopping with a detailed list Patricia will provide. Cook dinner for tonight's guests. Serve it while we eat. Don't sit down. Don't speak unless spoken to. You're out of your mind. Connor smiled. Maybe, but you're going to do it anyway. Unless you want those recordings to go live. Patricia put her hand on mine. It's not so bad. Just one day. Prove you're willing to learn and we can discuss giving you more freedom. Freedom? I pulled my hand away. I'm your husband, not your servant. You're whatever we say you are, Connor said. Now get started. The house isn't going to clean itself. I spent the day scrubbing floors I'd walked on as a guest, washing cars I'd ridden in. The whole time, Connor sat on the porch watching me, making comments. You missed a spot. The windows aren't streak-free. My mom deserves better effort than this. Neighbors walked by. Some waved. Mrs. Henderson from next door came over to chat with Patricia about the wedding, complimented how helpful I was being. He's wonderful, Patricia gushed. So attentive. I'm very lucky. I wanted to scream. By evening, I was exhausted, covered in cleaning product residue and car soap. Patricia handed me the grocery list. Don't forget the wine, and be back in an hour. Our guests arrive at 7. At the store, I ran into Nicole's friend Kira. She did a double take. Oh my God. Is that you? You look terrible. Thanks. No, I mean, she glanced around, lowered her voice. Nicole told me what's happening. Are you okay? I'm fine. You're not fine. This is abuse. You know that, right? I grabbed pasta sauce off the shelf. I can handle it. For how long? She blocked my cart. They're going to break you. They're going to try. And then what? You just become their live-in servant forever? I have a plan, I lied. Kira studied my face. No, you don't. But you should, because this isn't going to end well. She was right. I knew she was right. But I didn't know what else to do. I got back to the house at 6:30, started cooking immediately. Patricia had invited 3 couples, all people from her book club, people she wanted to impress. They arrived promptly at 7. I served drinks in the living room while they discussed the latest bestseller. Nobody seemed to find it weird that the groom was acting as waitstaff at his own home. Or maybe they did and were too polite to say anything. Dinner was awkward. I stood by the wall while they ate the chicken marsala I'd spent 2 hours preparing. Patricia kept asking me to refill glasses, bring more bread, clear plates. He's so well-trained, one of the women joked. Patricia smiled. I'm teaching him young. Set expectations early. They all laughed. I died inside. Connor watched the whole thing with this satisfied smirk. After dessert, he stood up. Actually, I have an announcement. He put his arm around Patricia. Mom and I have been thinking about the future, about what's best for our family. The guests looked confused but interested, and we've decided that for now, given the unconventional nature of this marriage, it's best if the sleeping arrangements remain separate. Connor will stay in his room. I'll stay in mine. And my new stepdad will stay in the guest room. More confused looks. It's about respecting boundaries, Patricia added smoothly, making sure everyone's comfortable. One of the men cleared his throat. That's very mature of you. After they left, I started cleaning up. Connor came into the kitchen. That wasn't so hard, was it? I kept washing dishes. See, if you just do what we say, everything will be fine. He leaned against the counter. Tomorrow you're going to apologize to Nicole publicly, on social media, for being a manipulative person who used her to get back at me. I'm not doing that. Then I guess everyone gets to see the recordings. Your call. He left me there with a sink full of dishes and a heart full of rage. I finished cleaning around midnight, went upstairs to find my stuff, had been moved to the guest room, the smallest room in the house, barely bigger than a closet. On the bed was a note from Patricia. Tomorrow's schedule followed by a smiley face. 6 a.m. wake up, make breakfast for Connor and Patricia. 7 a.m. drive Connor to his friend's house. 8 a.m. return to deep clean the bathrooms. 9 a.m. yard work. The list went on. I crumpled the note and threw it in the trash. My phone buzzed. Nicole again. How was dinner? Humiliating. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. I typed back. Do you have any idea who Trent is? Where he lives? Why? Just curious. She sent me an address. Be careful. He's dangerous. I know. I couldn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., I got up and started going through the house, looking for anything I could use. Leverage, evidence, something. In Patricia's home office, I found her laptop still open. She'd been looking at prenatal vitamins, baby name websites, forums for single mothers. In Connor's room, I found printed transcripts of our recorded conversations, highlighted sections, notes in the margins about which parts would be most damaging. In the hall closet, I found the camera. Small, wireless, hidden in a smoke detector. I checked every room, found 6 more cameras. They'd been recording everything for months. But I also found something else. In Patricia's bathroom, hidden behind the cleaning supplies, was another pregnancy test. This one positive, real, and a bottle of pills with a name that wasn't Patricia's. Prescribed to someone named Trent Volkman, blood pressure medication. The prescription was from 3 weeks ago. The address on the label was the one Nicole had sent me. So Trent was real, recently released from prison, taking medication for a heart condition, and apparently living close enough that Patricia could pick up his prescriptions. I photographed everything. The pills, the pregnancy test, the camera locations, every piece of evidence I could find. By the time the sun came up, I had a plan. Not a great plan, but a plan. I made breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast, set it on the table. Patricia came down first, looking surprised. You're up early. Couldn't sleep. Connor joined us a few minutes later. They both ate in silence, watching me carefully. I have something to say, I announced. They exchanged glances. I've been thinking about yesterday, about the tasks and the rules, and you're right. Right about what? Connor asked suspiciously. I was cocky, arrogant. I thought I was smarter than everyone. I looked at Patricia, and I pursued you for the wrong reasons. To hurt Connor, to prove I could. Patricia's expression softened slightly. I'm glad you're seeing that. So I want to make things right. I pulled out my phone, starting with a public apology to Nicole. Connor leaned forward. You're serious? Completely. I typed out a message while they watched, posted it to Instagram. A heartfelt apology about being manipulative and selfish, taking full responsibility for everything that happened. Connor checked his phone, verified it was real. He looked at his mom. Maybe he really is learning. Maybe, she agreed. But actions matter more than words. I know. I cleared the plates, which is why I'm going to keep following your schedule. Prove I'm committed to being better. They seemed pleased, satisfied, like their plan was finally working. After breakfast, I drove Connor to his friend Decker's house across town. He got out, but then leaned back in. I'm proud of you, for stepping up. Thanks. Mom would never admit it, but I think she's actually starting to like having you around. Don't screw it up. I won't. I drove back slowly, thinking through every step. At home, I cleaned the bathrooms like the schedule said, did the yard work, made lunch. Patricia barely looked up from her book. Good, you're getting it. That evening, I made dinner again. Lasagna. Patricia's favorite. We ate together this time, almost like a normal family. Connor talked about college plans. Patricia mentioned wanting to redecorate the living room. I played along, nodded in the right places, smiled when appropriate. After dinner, I cleaned up while they watched a movie in the den. Around 9, Patricia went upstairs. Connor followed 20 minutes later. I waited until I heard both their doors close. Then, I went to work. I'd found a key to Patricia's office earlier. Inside, I logged into her laptop using the password she kept on a sticky note under her mousepad. Amateur. Her emails were a goldmine. Messages with Trent going back 8 months, plans to be together, frustration about Connor being in the way, discussion about the pregnancy being his, but also fear. Trent wasn't just her ex. He was controlling, demanding. One email had her begging him to stop showing up at her work. Another had her crying about bruises he'd left. And then there was this. An email from 3 days before my wedding. Trent telling Patricia that if she didn't give him money, he'd tell Connor everything. Patricia replying that she'd handle it, that the wedding was her solution. She'd married me for my money, or more specifically, for access to whatever assets I might have. The half-house deed wasn't about trapping me. It was about having something valuable Trent couldn't touch. Except Connor didn't know any of this. He thought it was all about teaching me a lesson. I copied everything to a flash drive. Every email, every message, every piece of evidence of Patricia's deception. Then I found Connor's files, his planning documents for the revenge scheme, timelines, scripts for how they'd manipulate me, and something else. College rejection letters. Dozens of them. Connor wasn't going anywhere in the fall. His grades had tanked senior year. He'd been rejected from every school he applied to. The college plans he kept bragging about? Completely made up. And there was more. Credit card debt. $20,000 on Patricia's cards. Medical bills from when Connor's dad put her in the hospital. Court documents showing Trent had restraining orders from 2 other women. This family was a disaster, and they'd pulled me into it thinking I was an easy target. I heard a noise upstairs, quickly shut everything down and slipped out of the office. Went to my room and lay in bed, heart pounding. Waited for someone to burst in and accuse me of snooping. Nobody came. The next morning I woke up to shouting. Connor and Patricia arguing about something. I crept to the top of the stairs to listen. "You said he had money," Connor was yelling. "That's the whole point." "He does. Or his family does." "Then why haven't you gotten access to any of it?" "These things take time." Patricia sounded stressed. "I need to build trust first." "Trust? We're blackmailing him, which only works if he thinks we have power. If you keep pushing too hard, he'll snap and leave. Then we release the recordings. And lose our leverage." Patricia's voice got cold. "Think, Connor. We need him compliant, not desperate." I went back to my room before they could hear me. So that's what this was. Not just revenge. Money. My family wasn't rich, but we were comfortable. My grandparents had set up trusts for me and my sister. Money for college and beyond. Patricia thought she could access it by being my wife. That night, Nicole texted me. "Can we meet? Same place?" I climbed out the window again. This time I didn't care if they saw. At the diner, Nicole looked even worse than last time. Nervous. Scared. "Trent knows I talked to you." "How?" Patricia told him. Nicole's hands shook around her coffee cup. "He came to my apartment last night. Said if I interfere again, he'll hurt me. We need to go to the police." "And say what? That I'm afraid of my ex's mom's boyfriend?" She laughed bitterly. "They won't do anything. Then we use what we know. Get Patricia to back down. You don't understand." She leaned forward. "Trent isn't just some angry ex. He's violent. Really violent. 3 years ago, he put 2 guys in the hospital for looking at Patricia wrong. One of them still has brain damage. Why would she go back to him? Love, fear, maybe both." Nicole shook her head. "But he's the real threat here. Connor's just a kid playing games. Trent is dangerous. Does Connor know about him? Not the whole story. He knows Trent exists. Knows he was around when his parents split. But Patricia told him Trent was just a family friend. So Connor doesn't know Trent is why his dad left. Doesn't know Trent put his dad in the hospital. No. And if he finds out," Nicole said quietly, "I don't know what he'll do." I drove back thinking about everything. Connor was being manipulated too. Patricia was using both of us. But that didn't excuse what Connor had done to me. The setup, the betrayal, the ongoing humiliation. I needed to split them, turn them against each other, make Connor see what Patricia really was. The next morning, I started leaving hints, printouts from Patricia's emails, carefully edited to hide Trent's name but show the money desperation. Left them where Connor would find them. In his room, his car, his jacket pocket. It took 3 days before he confronted her. I listened from the kitchen while they argued in the living room. "What is this?" Connor demanded. "These emails about needing money? Just some financial stress. Nothing for you to worry about. You married him for money, not for revenge, for actual money." Patricia's voice went cold. "Don't be ridiculous." "Then explain these." The sound of papers hitting the floor. "You've been planning this for months, before I even came up with the revenge idea." Silence. Then Patricia, quiet. "You don't understand the situation we're in. We, or you, Connor, please. Dad was right about you, wasn't he? You drove him away with your drama, your problems, and now you're doing it to me. That's not fair. None of this is fair." I hear him moving. I thought we were doing this together, to teach him a lesson, but you're using both of us. I'm protecting us. No, Connor's voice broke. You're protecting yourself. Like always. A door slammed. Footsteps running upstairs, another door slamming. I peeked into the living room. Patricia was on the floor picking up papers, crying. She looked up and saw me. How long have you been there? Long enough. This is your fault. She stood up, mascara running. You're trying to turn him against me. I didn't have to try. I walked closer. You did that yourself, with your lies, your manipulation, using your own son for money. You have no idea what I've been through. Actually, I pulled out my phone, I do, because I read all your emails, saw all your messages with Trent. Her face went white. You went through my computer? You've been recording me for months. I think we're even. If you tell Connor, too late. I showed her the texts I'd sent him 30 minutes ago. Everything about Trent. The pregnancy. The money. The real reason she wanted me trapped. No. Patricia grabbed for my phone, but I pulled back. You can't! Connor's phone pinged upstairs. We both heard it. Then silence. Then footsteps. Fast. Coming down the stairs. Connor appeared in the doorway, phone in hand. Face red. Eyes wet. Is it true? He looked at his mom. Is any of what he sent me true? Connor. Sweetheart. Is it true? Patricia's shoulders dropped. Yes. The baby is Trent's? Yes. And you married him for money? To pay off Trent? It's more complicated. Answer me. Yes, Patricia screamed. Yes, okay? I needed money. Trent was demanding it, threatening to tell you everything. About the pregnancy. About why your father really left. About you cheating, Connor finished. About Trent being the reason Dad ended up in the hospital. Patricia sank onto the couch. I was trying to protect you. By lying? By using me? By surviving? Patricia stood back up, angry now. You have no idea what it's like. Raising a child alone, dealing with debt, dealing with an abusive ex who won't leave you alone. I did what I had to do. You used your own son. I kept my voice calm. Convinced him to help you manipulate someone else. All for money. Connor looked between us. I can't. He turned toward the door. I need to leave. Connor, wait! Patricia ran after him, but he kept walking. Don't follow me. Don't call me. I need time to process this. The front door slammed. His car started. Pulled out of the driveway too fast. Patricia turned on me. You did this. You destroyed my family. Your family was already destroyed. I'm just the one who made you see it. Get out. Her voice was ice. Get out of my house. Our house. Legally. Remember? She grabbed a vase from the side table and threw it at me. I ducked. It shattered against the wall. Get out. I grabbed my keys and left. Drove around for hours, ending up at a park across town. Sat on a bench watching kids play. My phone rang. Nicole. Connor's at my place, she said. He's a mess. Is he okay? Physically, yes. Emotionally, no. She paused. What did you do? Told him the truth. All of it? Everything about Patricia and Trent. The pregnancy. The money. Everything. He keeps saying he was so stupid. That he helped her hurt you and it was all for nothing. He wasn't wrong. Are you coming to get him? No. Let him sit with it for a while. Feel what it's like to be used. That's cold. Yeah. Well, I'd learned from the best. I went back to the house around midnight. Patricia's car was gone. Inside was chaos. Drawers pulled open. Closets emptied. She'd clearly been looking for something. My flash drive with all the evidence was gone from its hiding spot. She'd found it. But I'd already uploaded everything to the cloud. She could take the physical drive. Didn't matter. I went to bed in Connor's old room. The next morning, Patricia was sitting at the kitchen table when I came down. We need to talk. Sure. I made a mistake. She looked exhausted. Several mistakes. And I'm willing to make a deal. I'm listening. Annul the marriage. Walk away clean. I won't fight it. In exchange, you delete everything. All the evidence. All the recordings. What about Connor? He's not part of this anymore. Her voice cracked. He won't even talk to me. And Trent? I'm handling it. How? That's not your concern. I sat down across from her. What if I say no? Then I release my recordings. Edited to make you look as bad as possible. She smiled without humor. I may have dug myself a hole, but I can drag you down with me. Mutually assured destruction. Exactly. I thought about it. About how tired I was. How much I wanted this to just be over. Fine. I'll delete everything. We'll get the annulment. But I want it in writing. From a lawyer. Done. We can go today. One more thing. She waited. You tell Connor the truth. All of it. Why his dad really left. What Trent did. Everything. He'll hate me. He already hates you. But at least he'll know why. She agreed. We went to a lawyer that afternoon. Drew up the papers. Signed everything. By the end of the week, it was like the marriage never happened. Connor moved in with Nicole, stopped talking to Patricia completely, started seeing a therapist to deal with what his mom had put him through. Nicole and I became friends, weird, but genuine friends. She'd apologize every time we talked and I'd tell her to stop. Patricia's life fell apart slowly. Trent found out about the annulment and showed up at her house drunk. Neighbors called the cops. He got arrested for violating parole. Without my money, Patricia couldn't pay off her debts. Credit cards went to collections. The house went into foreclosure. Connor's grandparents found out what happened, disowned Patricia, said they were ashamed to be related to her. She ended up in a tiny apartment on the other side of town, pregnant, alone, working 2 jobs to make rent. I saw her once at the grocery store. She looked 10 years older, tired, broken. She saw me too, looked like she wanted to say something, but I just walked past. Connor ended up getting his life together, took a gap year, worked, saved money, applied to community college and got in. He apologized to me properly about 6 months after everything went down. We met for coffee. I was angry at you, he said, for being smarter than me, more confident, having your life figured out, and I let my mom use that anger. I know. But it wasn't about you. It was about me feeling worthless, about my dad leaving and my mom falling apart and me not knowing how to fix any of it. I get it, and I do. I really did, because I'd been angry too, at him, at Nicole, at myself for falling into their trap. We're never going to be friends again? Connor continued. I know that, but I wanted you to know I'm sorry, for all of it. I appreciate that. We finished our coffee in awkward silence. Haven't spoken since.